Hello everyone, welcome back to another video and day 23. Yes, 23 of Frizzmas. Y'all, we are doing the damn thing. I hope that you are well. My name is Kara, and whether you're new or returning, thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with us for another one today. We are going to be doing some palette talk. I'm going to be talking about every eyeshadow palette that I tried in 2025. If that sounds good, keep watching this video. Let me know what you think and consider joining the community because we'd love to have you back. All right, let's get started. So how are you? I'm just peachy. It is a dreary day, but I'm thankful to be here. I am staying in for the rest of the day, for the most part, I believe. And we're going to do some palette talk. So let me know how you are doing it in the comment section or the chat, and let's get started. I tried more eyeshadow palettes than I thought this year. I didn't buy as many, but I definitely tried a lot. I did get some in PR. And I want to preface this by saying two things. One, some of the palettes that I'm going to be talking about today, I tried this year, but they did not come out in 2025. I'm going to let you know when each palette was released. Secondly, there are a couple of palettes I don't have in my possession right now. Thirdly, if I did not try the palette, but I did buy the palette, you'll see those palettes in my makeup graveyard video from yesterday. Now we can get started. One palette that I tried this year, actually I tried a couple from Lunar Beauty, but the first one I'm gonna mention is the oldest one. This is the Nude Prism palette. I have this launching on May 31st, 2022. I'm actually wearing it now. You can barely see it, but I did just a little chill look today. I actually really like this palette, and I love an organized layout. I like how you have the lighter, more transition mattes here on the top row, your shimmers in the middle, and then your deeper mattes on the bottom row. Actually, that's not exactly true, but you know what I'm saying. It's an organized layout, mattes on the top and bottom, shimmers in the middle. The deeper ones are on the bottom though. I think this is a great palette. It could be someone's everyday palette, and the formula is really easy to work with. The mattes are buildable, they blend easy, and the shimmers are nice as well. At this point, I'm like, can you really mess up an eyeshadow palette? I'm finding it harder and harder to find palettes that have terrible formulas. Lunar Beauty had a sale for Manny MUA's birthday, and they were 33% off. So I purchased Nude Prism, Full Fantasy, as well as Moonshroom. Moonshroom I did not use, so you will see that in the makeup graveyard video. And for all of these palettes, let me know if you have them. Let me know if they were on your wish list. Did you miss out on them? Did you talk yourself out of them? I'd love to continue the conversation about that. Now let's get into three palettes from 2023. The next one is also from Lunar Beauty. This is the Full Fantasy palette, and I believe this was released mid 2023. Another really beautiful palette, really easy to use, and has a little more variety than the Nude Prism palette, but still super easy. The layout's not as organized on here. The shimmers are spread throughout, but I just think this is a palette that is really good for day and nighttime looks, and it gives someone who likes neutrals a chance to do like a little bit of a pop of color. Not a lot, but just a little bit. This palette I think is great for daytime and evening looks, as well as the last one. I mean, at this point, you can just wear whatever you want when you want. So, I mean, what constitutes a daytime look, nighttime look is different from every person. But when I think about nighttime, I'm thinking about just using maybe some deeper shades to give you like the smokiness, but you can also do that with Nude Prism. Maybe the shimmers are a little bit different. I think the shimmers are what really make this palette different from Nude Prism. You just have some different colors of shimmers where all of the ones in Nude Prism were pretty neutral. All right, I'm gonna check these off. I got a whole notebook. Check these off as we go. On my list. Next, we're gonna talk about the Unfiltered Nudes palette. This is by Adept Cosmetics. I purchased this one during a sale. I'm not really sure why. What was I getting from MAC that I purchased this? I don't even remember, but they were having a sale. I got a couple liners, I got a blush, and then I purchased this palette. I got a mascara as well. Now this palette was definitely not needed in my collection. I'm not really sure if I want to keep this just because I don't need it. I'm starting to overlap when it comes to my neutral palettes because I was on such a neutral kick this year, but there are only so many neutral color stories that you can have. Same with the colorful palettes. And so I'm not sure where this one's gonna stand. As far as performance, I think it was, as far as the performance of this palette, it's great. I don't think you can really go wrong with MAC shadows, but looking at this and then thinking about the Nude Prism palette, if I had to choose, I would pick the Nude Prism palette. And if I was really looking at my collection before I made this purchase, I probably wouldn't have purchased it because Nude Prism is really close. And I got this one months after I purchased Nude Prism, but it is still a very nice palette, very classic and easy to use. The next palette we have is from Kidos, and this is the Flowing Haze palette. This launched on August 17th, 2023. And I love this palette. I think it is very beautiful. This is a perfect quad for someone who just doesn't want to do a lot of thinking. Again, this one goes from day to night really easily. You have your transition shade, and then this one can give you a little bit of depth, like for the daytime if you wanted to. And then if you wanted to jazz it up for the evening, you can add this color. The shimmer is really pretty in this palette, so no complaints about it. Did I need it? No, but I needed nothing that you're seeing in this video. I do love Kidos packaging. I think I always will. They're very creative. It's just what they're doing now doesn't speak to me as much as what they've done in the past. Next, we have a couple 2024 palettes. We're going to start with one Venetian Sunrise by Patricia McGrath. And I purchased this when she was having a real sale up to 40% off, I want to say, is what I got this for. I actually think I got it for the 40% off. And when I wore this, I really liked this one. When I think about my Pat McGrath quads, this one and the, there's another one that I really like. Oh my gosh, why can't I think of it? It's so good. Is it called Vixen? Something Vixen? Let me look it up because it's a really good quad. Voyeuristic Vixen. That's a really, really good one. That one has a little more, it's not a pink trajectory, but it has a like pink to gold duochrome shimmer. This is going to keep you more neutral, but both of them are great. This one definitely did not disappoint. However, really fast, I think if you have the Divine Rose palette, then you don't really need anything like this, which I do have that palette. This is just another example of buying something because it was on sale, but I wasn't thinking about it when it was regular price. I will use it though. Next we have one Light Scatters palette from Cleona Cosmetics, and this was a collab with Millie, also known as Bad to the Brow. She is the queen of multi-chromes, and I was gifted this palette. It launched on November 29th, 2024. I don't think this palette came in until 2025. Cleona had messaged me and apparently I didn't get it. And then they were like, hey, we still want to send it to you. And I was like, hey, come on, because I still want it. And I just think this is a great little palette. When it comes to all shimmer palettes, one of the things that I'm coming to the realization of at this very moment is that you don't really need a whole lot of shimmers. 9 shimmers, that is enough to choose from. Now don't get me wrong, I still love like my Danessa Lightworks 5 palette. I was talking about that. I'm thinking about my Adept Cosmetics Seahorse palette. That one has, I want to say 18 shades, maybe 15. Huh? You want more salmon? All right, I'm coming. Let me just finish this one thought. You really don't need a whole lot of shimmers to choose from. 9 is plenty, and the shimmers that were chosen for this palette are excellent. I actually did a lost review on this palette where I did 3 looks, and I just, this is just such a good palette. It's not gonna give you that decision fatigue. Let me go get his salmon, because he's gonna eat it all. All right, the salmon has been secured. Now let's move to September 13th, 2024. We had the launch of the Undergrowth palette by Cosmic Brushes. So I did not purchase this one until this year. But this is such a beautiful palette. Lord knows I did not need this color story in my life. I have a video about all of my earthy color stories because these are the ones that really just pull at my heartstrings. I did not need this, but this one, and even I got the Winter Wonderland one down here because I never even did my video about the winter palettes. But the Cosmic brushes be doing it. Like that, first of all, great color stories, a great price point. I am just impressed because they have been able to keep their prices down. And maybe that's because they don't have all the hollow chromes and everything, but the shimmers are shimming, okay? And they do include a few duochromes in their palettes. I think this one might have 2. Very impressed with this palette. And even though I have the color story already for the most part, I'm keeping it. Like, look at this palette. I could wear it. I love it. I love it. I don't care. When this palette launched, I loved it then, but I was like, I already have the earthy color stories. And then I don't know if it went on sale. I don't know what happened, but I'm glad to have added this into my collection. And I hope that in 2026, it will get more use than it did this year. The last palette I did give to my sister, so I'm going to pop it up. This takes us to November. I was trying to go in order, but I messed that up with light scatters. But this palette takes us to November of 2024, and this was the Nars Tempting Eyeshadow Palette. What was different about this palette was that in previous years, the Nars eyeshadow palettes, a lot of them looked the same. Their 9 pans look the same as well. And some of their larger palettes, they all kind of have this pink, like orgasm trajectory here. This Tempting palette leaned a little more cool toned, and that's what made it different. That one and the Climax palette are the 2 more different palettes. The Climax palette is a business though. That one is long gone. They can go ahead and bring that one back. I don't think anybody would be mad. But back to the Tempting palette. There's a shade in there that I don't really care for. And it's like a pop shade, a matte. I want to say, is it like a lavender or pink or something like that? I don't know. We didn't really need that. I didn't need that palette. And I remember purchasing that using a gift card. Oh my gosh. And I remember my friend Kelsey saying, don't get that. And I shouldn't have, Kelsey. I shouldn't have. I specifically remember her saying that. But she tells me not to get a lot of things. That was their spring 2025 release. Now that we are done with all the 2024 palettes, we are going to go into our 2025 eyeshadow extravaganza. First, we're going to start with the Natasha Denona Bloom palette. This was the first palette I purchased in 2025. Maybe I did purchase Undergrowth in 2024, but I remember specifically saying I purchased this one in 2025. This one released on February 24th, 2025. Somebody was asking me, are they discontinuing this palette? I don't know why she would. I think this is a great color story. I really like it. It's peachy pink. It's not even pink. It's really, well, it is kind of peachy pink. Well, that is what it is. It's peachy pink. I like it. I haven't used it a lot. I got stuck on using probably I Need a Nude this year. I Need a Warm. Those 2 palettes, especially I Need a Nude. That was another surprise palette from Tasha that I just loved. But hoping to use this a bit more because I really like the color story. Y'all know I love me some Tasha. Don't forget to let me know which palettes you have that I'm talking about. Got Petal Morphosis here. Trying to see what's coming next. But it's looking like it's Pat McGrath Petal Morphosis. All right, let's talk about it. You all will know that I did not get this palette during the launch. This is the Mothership 12. I wasn't mad at it, but it wasn't my favorite Mothership. It did give us a little something different. I was able to get this purple packaging when she had a sale. I think I got this. I got that quad. I got a Dark Star mascara. Oh, and I got, it was a 6-pan all matte palette that I was talking about for the makeup graveyard video, because she had reopened her vault and that was a discontinued palette. But let's take a look at Petal Morphosis. This is giving me some springtime vibes, so I'm not really in the mood for it right now. Okay, let's just talk about it. Do we feel the excitement for motherships anymore? Because I still do. It's just sometimes the reveal is disappointing. I also think that people really liked those special shades, and now we don't get them, but the price is still $128. So I don't know. Are we still spectators of the mothership? Do we still get excited? Because I'm gonna be honest, when I see the gold and the sequins and the hand go over, I still get excited. And you know, it may just be that nostalgia feeling. And we'll talk about that as, you know, we wrap up Frizzmas and talk about beauty lessons and makeup lessons and purchasing lessons. But the motherships are just always something that I get excited about. And it doesn't matter how many times I get disappointed. I just still get excited. And if she does a 13, I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to feel. Like, I want to be excited, but I don't know. Is it genuine excitement or just excitement because it's tradition? Anyway, let me know what you think about this. Honestly, this mothership looked better on the black packaging, but when I could get the purple for like 78, I just thought that would be nice to have because it looks different. You know, even not like I have these sitting out. It's another thing. Then we're gonna head to April. No, I think we're gonna head into May of 2025. Yeah, let's do that with the Nomad Cosmetics Route 66 palette launching on May 5th of 2025. So May 5th, 2025, we have the Route 66 palette from Nomad Cosmetics. This was their summer release, and this palette was inspired by all of the many destinations that you encounter when on Route 66. And I thought this was a great palette. When it comes to the Nomad Cosmetics summer palettes, they're not usually my favorites, but this was a color story that I could really work with. There are a couple shades in here that, you know, I probably really wouldn't wear like that. But overall, this is a wearable palette for me. And I just think it was a great palette by the brand. They consistently put things on my travel bucket list, and this was added. Also launching in May was the Sigma Spectrum palette. Now this palette I received as a gift at the Creator and Friends event that I went to in Destin back in April. It was at the end of April. And I just think this is a really great eyeshadow palette. Very easy to use, very beginner friendly. It was my first time trying Sigma shadows, and I found the formula very easy to use. Right away, I'm thinking about that Nude Prism palette again from Lunar Beauty. And then I'm thinking about some other neutral palettes that I have. So does this palette actually have a place in my collection? I'm not really sure. But as far as the quality of the palette, the shimmers and the mattes, everything performed great. This is a palette I could easily reach for every day. Now, where is this palette? I'm not seeing the next one that I want to talk about. It's not on here. Okay, we're gonna add in the Singe Beauty Agate Temptation palette, and I'm thinking about that because I received that palette as well at the Creator and Friends event. It's not in this bin. This palette launched May 16th, 2025. This palette was another beautiful, earthy color story. I think it was very beautiful. Kind of similar to the Undergrowth palette. It gave me those types of vibes. That was my first time trying a Singe Beauty like makeup product. I have used their brushes. I use them all the time, but the formula is great. The shimmers are very, very sparkly. I really like the shimmers from Singe Beauty because they're not flaky. They're really smooth and they don't really give you fallout or anything like that. Very high quality mattes and shimmers. So that one is in a box with some indie palettes somewhere, but I did receive that one this year and I did a video on it. I also like the Singe Beauty price point. I believe that palette was $45 for, I think, 16 shades. Very reasonable, especially when you see how much stuff has gone up these days. I think that's it for May. So now we're gonna get into June. It looks like I only have one palette, and this palette, I just can't with it. It is the Desert Gleam palette from Lisa Eldridge. This is a palette that I got just the beginning after seeing Undergrowth and Agate Temptation and knowing all the other earthy color stories that I have. Actually, this palette inspired me to do that video because I was like, how many do I need? I'm not overly impressed with the Lisa Eldridge eyeshadow formula. I think it is good, but there's nothing special enough that this palette needs to be, what, like $69. You could go ahead and get the Natasha Denona Yucca palette for that price. You're really just paying for the name and the component. I'm not saying that the performance was bad. It was just okay. I just wasn't moved by this palette. So I am going to be passing this one along. That was June. And now we're going into July with another palette I cannot find, which is the Natasha Denona Mini Gloom palette. That was another palette that I purchased just to be purchasing because it was swasha. And I kind of feel about that color story the same way that I do about the Lisa Eldridge palette, but I probably like the Gloom palette better. I don't know, but either way, both of them, I don't care for that much. The quality of Natasha Denona's shadows are great. The biggest takeaway that I got from purchasing the Mini Gloom palette was that I purchased the Taupe Macro Tech Eye Crayon that launched with that collection, which I wouldn't have looked at if I didn't look at that Mini Gloom palette. That Taupe Eye Crayon has become one of my favorite liners. Was it worth it for that? Probably not. I'm hoping I would have eventually discovered it, but moving away from, and I've never really been heavy into black eyeliner, but I'm totally moving away from black liner and really deep liners because I like my eyes to appear a bit larger. And I think as I age, the dark liner is just really harsh on me, and I don't have big eyes, and the dark liner just closes them off even more. So that Grige taupe shade is perfect for me, and I'm glad to have discovered it. But notice I haven't said anything about that palette. The palette was okay. If she did a midi gloom, I would be interested in that just because it would be more of an extended version, and I just think the looks that I could get are going to be like that natural grunge type look. But I just wasn't moved by mini gloom, and you know what, that, my friends, is okay. We are heading into fall releases. That was June and July, so let's get into August. And I just thought it was so early to be coming out with fall palettes. But I do have the Nomad Cosmetics Witch City Salem palette. That's a lie. Nope. That's a lie, y'all. Hold on. I don't want to say a lie. We had the Nomad Cosmetics comeback palettes, and there were 3. America's Parks, Berlin Underground, and Provence. I only used the Berlin Underground. I believe this was a June release. Love this color story. Just beautiful grunginess and some variety in this palette. Lots of neutrals. Really easy palette to use. You could do cool looks, warm looks. I am glad they reformulated this one. I did have the old one, but crazy thing is, actually it's not that crazy. I hadn't used it, but I did use this one. So I will be keeping this one and decluttering the former version, the older version. So let's go into Witch City Salem, August 25th, 2025. Again, all of my Nomad palettes were gifted, and every Halloween, or for every Halloween palette, they've got the lenticular motion. And this is a really beautiful palette. It just wasn't my favorite, and I just didn't feel really moved to use it at the time. I think because it was August, you know what I mean? So I didn't end up covering this palette. I think I might have done a YouTube short with it, but I just wasn't in the mindset for it yet. That's taught me some lessons about like themed makeup and how often I will reach for it, but it is a very beautiful palette. Let me know if you like that I shared the dates. It adds a little historical side to the video. And it also just shows you like how much makeup is being released all the time and how much makeup is being released by, you know, various brands, and if the releases are close together. Because looking at the Witch City Salem, then I'm looking at Pacific Northwest, which isn't going to be next, but that came out the next month. So yeah, that was kind of close together. Anyway, let's move into September. Yep, we're going to start with the Natasha Denona Eye Sculpt Texture and Tone palettes. Woo. I was happy to see these. I don't care. I think that if you were someone who was into like the Biba palette or didn't get that, well, I actually think Biba is still worth getting. But if you didn't, are we getting more shades? I think we're getting more shades than the Biba palette. Smaller pans, more sleek packaging. My Biba palette has had it. Like the packaging is so rickety. Let's start with the soft palette. And this was like the lighter palette, but it's really not. I just think this palette can go for my friends with richer skin tones. It just depends on what you're going for. The downside of this palette is that there are only 2 shimmers. The upside is that she's got cream to powders in here, which I really love. I like how she modeled the shades in these palettes after her concealer line. So it will be really easy for you to go in and pick the undertones that you think would look good on you. These palettes are great, I think, for makeup artists. You know, if you're not a makeup artist, it might not be necessary to have all these tones, but I just think that's what made this palette really easy to use. So that's the soft palette. And again, I think regardless of your skin tone, I think you can use both. I could see someone that's fair using the dramatic palette, maybe with a lighter hand. And I do think someone that has richer skin can use the soft palette. I think the undertones on the soft palette though will matter more on someone with richer skin because the shades are lighter and you don't want to have the ash factor. Nobody wants that. Here is the dramatic palette. I also find that the dramatic palette is really warm. The only cool shades in the dramatic palette and the soft palette, those are like on the ends, but overall the soft palette is cooler. This palette is a warm palette, so this one is not gonna be attractive to someone who isn't a fan of warm shades because the only like neutral and cool are these two. Everything else is pretty warm. The other thing with this palette is that this one has a whole row of shimmers, whereas the light one doesn't. I never looked into why it was that way, but I'd be curious. And if you know, let us know. I was wondering if maybe she thought the shimmers would be redundant in the light palette, but I really don't know why it was like that. I always wondered that too about the Hourglass palettes. Like, why can't the palettes just all have the same types of powders? Like, why does one palette have 2 blushes? One palette might have 1 blush. Then you got 2 setting powders in one. One has a bronzer, one doesn't. Like, I don't understand all of that, but whatever. It's not for me to understand. Tasha, yes. These are a yes. Next, we have, we've got, oh, this is one of my favorite releases. It's not even a palette, but I'm counting it as a palette. It's the Melt 12th Hour Stack, and it's basically a palette. This is like top 5 of 2025. I can't rank these. I'm just letting y'all know. There's just no way I could rank these. Maybe I could pick a top 5. I can't really rank them because it just really depends on my mood. But this though, every time, you're going to get me talking about how great this is every time I show it. I was just so happy that Melt decided to do this. And I hope that they continue coming out with the stacks because I'm into them. I miss that whole era. This is the one, I wear this one a lot and I just think it's great. You got a little mirror in the front. This is just everything. And if you participated in their real sale that just ended, you could have got this for 50% off, which I think is fantastic. So September 22nd, 2025. Yes, very, very happy with that. Oh, now I don't have a date for this one, this next one, but y'all, my baby, Bibliophilia by Byredo. I don't know why I said I didn't have a date. Maybe I didn't have an exact date, but Bibliophilia released in September of 2025. I was so pressed when I saw this palette. I was like, oh, this is mine. I am getting it. And I do think this, oh, wait a minute. See, I was about to make a mistake. Them two shades were about to fall out. I think this palette is fantastic. I do. These are my shades, and we have a warm color story, a cool one. And you know, Byredo tried it because they did not release this palette during the normal release time for them. They waited until the fall, and now we've already seen the next palette. I forget what it's called, Vesuvio or something. I can't remember. But that was coming out, and I said I was getting it, but we'll see. But I really like this. I think the Byredo formula is great. They're like satiny shades, like the mattes. Are there any true mattes? I can't remember. Because sometimes the mattes aren't like true mattes. They're like satins. Yeah, there's like a sheen to them. And I like that. I think it's great for like one and done shades. And then the shimmers are nice. Some have more sparkle than others. They better be nice for this price, $110. Better be. Like, we should expect nice things. You know what I'm saying? Like, it should not be a surprise that something is nice. It should not be a surprise that something is excellent, because I'm spending my excellent money. So it should be excellent. All right, let's move on. Oh, we have some good ones, because next we have, why is my mouth watering? The Pat McGrath Gilded Nirvana palette. That's next. Okay, this, I might not have used it like a top 5 palette, but this is, the formula in here is so good. Once again, this is like the light scatters. You don't need a shimmer palette with all these choices. These are all the choices you need. 9 shades, 12 is good. Formula is excellent in here. I did a lid swatch video, but I was thinking about pairing this with that all matte 6-pan I talked about in the makeup graveyard video, and we are gonna have some looks, honey. The shimmers in here, they are not dusty. They're just, oh, there's one matte here. Why she put that matte in there? I just realized that. Why do we need that? We did not need that. If you were gonna do a matte, it could have just been that little light, like peanut butter brown. But whatever, that's neither here nor there, because I don't even care. It's fine. This is just if you want to set your primer down or whatever, have a little flesh tone. But I don't know. Yes to that. Plus, hold on, plus we got back to the lacquered packaging for the holiday releases, which I don't think we've had in a while. Plus, I don't know, like the last couple holiday releases, and I know that some of them had the Italian formula, but I don't know. It was like the fake Italian formula, because this one's so good. Is this one made in Italy? Yep. But I don't know. Some of her other ones made in Italy, the shimmers are not like this. So just because it's made in Italy, it's not all created equal. It's just not. So we've got that on the 26th, and then Pacific Northwest. This one from Nomad launched on September 29th, and it just brings me some positive memories of one of my YouTube subbies that has transitioned. She would have loved this. Top 5 palette of 2025. I'm so sorry, I'm calling it. The color story in here, I didn't think I was gonna find anything that I would like better than the Nomad Ghost Town USA palette, but this one, because this has the earthiness that goes with it, and I just think it's so foresty and so beautiful. Like every shade in here could get used, and this is a phenomenal palette. I mean, look at the packaging, you guys. It's like a canvas. Like they really took their time with this one, and I love it. I really love this palette. That's for sure my favorite Nomad palette this year. It might be my favorite, period. Probably is. So now let's go into October, y'all. We are moving right along. Hello?
Can I get the cookies?
Yes. How many?
4 4.
Okay. Look at these cookies. But I say you can't get them for dessert. Let's start with, oh, Paisley Hoot. Paisley Hoot, October 3rd. This one, y'all, top 5. Top 5 palette of 2025, I would say. Do I have any other top 5s that we talked about that I didn't say top 5? Gilded Nirvana, Pacific Northwest, Paisley Hoot. Oh, and then I did say the 12th hour stack. Oh wait, but what about Tasha? Can we have a top 10? Top 10? I'm gonna see. All right, this is like a little spicy neutral palette, and this is perfect for me. I really think she did a great job. It's got like she is an Angelica Nyqvist. It's got the retro vibe, but it's these shimmers in here. They are so beautiful. They're just so smooth and sparkly, and all of the mattes are great. Typically, like the old me would have been like, why do we have this in here? But this is so good for the inner corner. Wait. I am just into this palette. I think it is so beautiful, and this will be in my neutral palette drawer. I love this palette. Great job. Great job. I'm putting that in the top 5 running. After Paisley Hoot, we have, wait a minute, we got 2 for the 9th. I'm gonna save the exciting one. I'm gonna save that. We're next gonna talk about Welcome to Derry from Mount. Now y'all know we got a top 5 here and a bottom 5, because this, I should have known. I really tried to talk myself out of getting this palette, because I really just had no business getting this palette. I can't even do anything with the packaging of this palette because it's cardboard, but they did a phenomenal job with the packaging. I absolutely love it. Have not finished this show because the first episode was real wild. I actually opted to watch Stranger Things, and I'm on season 3. Don't spoil it, but I'm enjoying. I love stuff like that. I don't mind a little horror. It was just a lot in Welcome to Derry, and I just didn't know where we were going, but I might try to give it another chance. I'm just gonna skip that first part. I'm not even a person that's like grossed out by blood and gore, but it was just a lot. I was like, I don't think I'm interested. But maybe I will be. But this color story is just like, it's all over the place. I mean, what are we doing with this palette? Like, I'm doing nothing with this palette. And I don't think I've ever like gotten a palette and wanted to declutter it right away. But that's how I feel about this one, because I'm like, I'm not going to mess over it and try to find something to do with it. I already knew when I looked at it without buying it that it just was not made for me. However, the bags are everything. The bags, I just could have got the bags and no makeup, and that would have been straight, because those bags are in heavy rotation. They are constantly being used. But this palette was, that just wasn't it for me. So there's that. Cross it off the list. But let me tell you what I do really appreciate. Danessa came with the Lightwork 7 on October 9th as well. And Friends for, how much was this? Was it $128? I mean, I take this over the Pat McGrath Mothership any day. Even though I probably wouldn't wear this shade, I'll wear all the rest of them. I just got into a eyeshadow stick moment. I'm still there, but I'm back on powders. I'm back on them. So I am happy to have this, and I did 3 looks with this palette. I was nothing short of impressed, but I knew I would be. Danessa Myricks is probably the most innovative beauty brand, I would say, out here in the streets right now. Let me know if you have some other ones, but I just think that this is phenomenal. I will say that it would have been better for me to get this on a sale, just because I'm not going to use all the features. I may take off the cover and travel with a stack or 2 and put it in the little handy dandy bag, which is, it's over here somewhere. Like, I might do something like that, but I don't see myself mixing and matching the shades and making my own palettes. I mean, it could be fun. It could be fun. But I don't see myself really doing it. I say that about I'm going to do that with the Natasha Denona ones, and I never do. And I could be making all these awesome color stories. I have all these like pictures in my phone of Natasha Denona palettes that people made and I wanted to create. Am I doing it? No, I'm not. So I don't really know if I'm getting my money's worth out of this palette, but no one's taking it. I mean, it's not going anywhere. So happy to have that. I'm just happy I really fell in love with Danessa this year. I really did. My wallet's not happy, but I'm happy. We also have the ColourPop Grinch palette that I really shouldn't have bought it, but I love the Grinch. I surely do. I've already, oh, I didn't watch the cartoon one yet this season, but I did watch the Jim Carrey one because I love me some Jim Carrey. But yes, here we go. Beautiful palette, beautiful gowns. Like, that's the bottom line with this. But the other bottom line is, how often am I going for themed makeup? The answer is pretty much never. But I just think this palette is so beautiful for springtime. And it reminds me of the Give Me Glow Vintage Rose palette. And I have that. You see what I'm saying? So if it's springtime and I want to use something, am I going to go for Vintage Rose or am I going to go for the Grinch That Stole Christmas? I'm probably going to go for Vintage Rose. Also, I heard someone say online, because I didn't know, because there's this like super putty shade here. And someone told me that this is the Super Shock formula. Who knew? Not me. I'm not even supposed to be swatching, but I didn't know that. And I think it's this green one too. That's also the Super Shock formula. This one here, it's a little chunky, but it's still very nice, really sparkly on the eye. So like, that's gonna be like a really nice topper. Overall, this is a good palette. I'm not saying this palette is out or anything like that, but I just think the Now Me would have been able to go through my little list of questions that I'm trying to develop, and I would have come to the decision not to buy it, because I would have been like, Carrie, you know you don't go for themed makeup. And you can watch the Grinch at any time. I don't need to have a palette to remember the Grinch. I am the Grinch sometimes, you know what I mean? But it was a really nice palette, and I got a lip combo to go with that. Next, we have the launch of the Adept RH Null palette. Y'all, this is the only Adept palette I bought this year. Can you believe it? I didn't get Minka, I didn't get Emo, I didn't get EBEs. I think that's all they came out with. I'm cool with like 4 releases though. You know what I mean? Like, I'm cool with that. Like, I don't know. Some of these heavy releases that are coming out, that come out from brands, is a lot. Actually, Nomad, I think, might have been the biggest culprit this year for palette releases, because they had 9 palettes. That's almost a palette a month, y'all, for real. Anyway, this is pretty. What made me get this versus the other releases, because the other releases were beautiful, are beautiful, is that I liked every single matte shade, and I didn't feel the same about Minka and Emo. EBEs I really liked, but then I was like, it looked like it had a lot of hollow shades, and I'm not, like, I don't really need all of that. So this one has a couple hollow shades. I know it at least has one. I just think it's beautiful. Now, what I don't understand is the color story. I love the color story, but I don't understand it as it relates to the RH Null blood type, which is the rarest blood type in the world. And I believe that it had the nickname of being called like golden blood. Might have made that up, but I don't think I am. So I wasn't thinking this color story. I was thinking like something golden along the lines of like the Natasha Denona mini golden palette, the golden palette, maybe with some hints of like red orange. That's what I was thinking. But there's probably a scientific reason that these were the colors. So you can let me know. Y'all science people out there, let me know. Love the palette though. I think it's really beautiful. So I don't regret having that at all. And we're gonna go ahead and say top 5. All right. Well, friends, we've got 2 palettes left, it looks like. And I really hope I didn't leave anything off of here. But I've got the Edward Scissorhands palette from Melt Cosmetics next, launching on November 10th. Okay, I already knew this palette wasn't for me when I got it, so that has not changed. It's beautiful. But you know what I really want to do with this palette? Are these magnetized? Let me just see. I don't want to mess these up. Shut. It's not. Oh my God, it's not magnetized. Okay, what I wanted to do with this palette was take this shade, take this out and use this like for my vitamins. I don't think I'm gonna wear this palette like that. I don't like this shade right here. I know my friend Kelsey said she got it to work, but what she told me she had to do with it to get it to work was just too much for me. I'm like, why am I doing this and only getting this? It's not right. Anyway, beautiful palette. I think a lot about the Smoke Sessions 2 palette that had those electric purple shades. So if I wanted this color story, that's the palette I'm going for, hands down, because there is like a beautiful electric purple in the Smoke Sessions 2 palette, and it's fantastic. So this was more of a nostalgia packaging buy, and I don't know, like these shades are great. This one I'm not gonna really use like that. That one I'm definitely not using. I just want to scrape it out now. And you know, I have to do that with melt palettes sometimes. I have to scrape them out and put my own shadows in it. I could do that, but I'm a little more upset about these not being magnetized. I think my favorite shade in the palette is this shade, Edward. That's a great shade. Yeah, that one's really nice. But I mean, was it $50 nice? That's the question. Love the collection. I do. They did a fantastic job. The blush, everything but the palette and the blush, like, was a win. I didn't even use the scissors. All right, friends, we are coming down to the end. So the last palette I have in, well, it's not in here. Hold on. Oh, I see it. Oh, I can't. That was the last palette because I haven't tried this one. So never mind. That was the Chris Kendall Mark palette from Nomad. But that's in the makeup graveyard video. So that's it. Those are the palettes I tried in 2025. Let me see which ones I put on the top 5 list. Let's see. We got 12 Hour Stack, RH No, Pacific Northwest, that's 3. Oh my gosh. Paisley Hoot, Gilded Nirvana, Danessa. We're gonna have to do a top 10 because I don't know. What do you think about these palettes? Texture and tone. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Basically what that means is that I could have just gotten 8 palettes this year and I would have been all right. I would have been all right. If these palettes were the only palettes I purchased this year, I would have been satisfied and content because I think each of those palettes are stellar. Not to mention, I have my neutrals covered. I got my shimmers covered. I got my indie covered. I got the uniqueness covered with the stacks and the innovation of the Lightworks palette. I got cream to powders. We got holochromes, multi-chromes, duochromes. We have the travel destinations. Damn, yeah, y'all. I would have been good on these 8 palettes. And it doesn't mean I don't like. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, 9. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. I had this one in a separate area. I have a dresser right here. It's like my clothing dresser, but it like, I don't know if I can show it. I don't want to show it to y'all, but okay, because it's a mess. But see this dresser, and then what I do is I set the palettes on their drawers as I'm talking about them. So I had Bibliophilia up top, like, because it's bougie, you know what I mean? So that's 9. So that's fine. I could have gotten these 9 palettes, which means essentially, not that they came out in different months, but it's like, I could really just get 1 palette a month. You know what I mean? There was a content creator that was doing that. What's her name? Andrea, something, Mattiano or something like that. That's not her last name. Anyway, I think that she was the one that was doing 1 palette a month. I don't want to commit to that because if I'm looking at my sources correctly, there are some really good releases that happened in the same month. Like Natasha Denona and then the Gilded Nirvana by Pat McGrath. See, that came out in the same month. That would have had me all jacked up because I wouldn't have been able to get both. And I would have been sad. I would have gotten over it, but I would have been sad. The 12th Hour Stack from Melt and Pacific Northwest came out in the same month, in September. Danessa and Paisley Hoot came out in the same month. Now, what this is also showing me is that the later in the year releases, those are the color stories that usually speak, oh no, and Byredo. Byredo also came out in September. Byredo, Tasha, and Pat McGrath. That part of the year is the part that the heavy makeup releases that I like. That's when they launch in the fall season. So I'm thinking, like, looking at my purchasing pattern here, is to keep that in mind for next year, that last quarter of the year is maybe what I should be banking on and saving for when it comes to palettes, because just look, all my top 9 palettes are from that time. RH Null was an October release. Paisley Hoot, October. So yeah, that's why the dates are important here. And I'm gonna be doing a lot more analytics, because I need to understand, like, my purchasing patterns, my emotional buying triggers. We're gonna be talking about all of that tomorrow. Let me know your favorite palettes. I know I had a top 9 or a top 8, no, top 9, and that's okay. I got a top 9. It's all right, don't have to be 10. But those are the palettes. I would have been good on those palettes this year and probably didn't need anything else. These palettes sum up my 2025, my favorites. And I'm not saying the rest doesn't matter, but yeah, they kind of don't. Actually, no. So like this one though, if I had gotten it in 2024 and used it, this probably would have been a top palette for sure. But that's it. Let's keep it going in the comments, y'all. Thank you so much for taking out some of your time and hanging out with me for another one today. Another day of Frizzmas. We got one day left, but you know we got plenty more to come. I do hope this was therapy for you. It always is for me. And until I see you again, make sure you are being gentle with yourself. Talk to yourself nice, stay safe, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Bye.